welcome to Valuechain News. I am Naomi Oleribe. First, the headlines. No going back on subsidy removal, federal government. Environmentalist urges Niger Delta leaders to rescue region from pollution. President Buhari faults power sector privatization, described it as political favor. Now the news in details. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says the federal government is determined to remove subsidy on premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol. Responding to questions by journalists at the public presentation of the 2022 budget yesterday, Ahmed said the federal government was set to comply with the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021 to fully deregulate prices of petroleum products. She said the PIA has made a provision that indicates that all byproduct prices will be deregulated, and so far we have been able to deregulate kerosene and diesel prices. The only product that is still not deregulated is petrol. So we are planning to comply with the law because the PIA is an act of the National Assembly and a law that we all have a responsibility to abide by. She added that the government will implement any proposal with greater practicability and wider benefit for the country's citizens. The Ibe Sorimowe of Baramatu Kingdom in Warri Southwest Local Government Area of Delta State, Comrade Mulade Sherif, has charged stakeholders in the Niger Delta, especially those in the oil and gas bearing communities, to rescue the region from pollution and other forms of degradation. He warned them not to compromise their stand on safe and clean environments by receiving any form of token from oil companies which do not operate in line with environmental best practices. Mulade is the National Coordinator and CEO for the Center for Peace and Environmental Justice (CEPEJ), based in Warri, Delta State. He also urged the federal government and other stakeholders to prevail on oil multinationals to come up with urgent measures towards reversing the degraded Niger Delta environment so as to protect the flora and fauna of the region. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday faulted the privatization of the power sector that was done under the previous PDP administration. The president, while speaking during a special interview anchored by Channels TV, described the process as political favor done to those close to the administration at that time. He said that those adjudged as winners of privatization process in the power sector had no money to manage the distribution companies that emerged from the defunct Power Holding Company of Nigeria. Although electricity is considered a major determinant of economic development, as access to electricity is expected to catalyze nations in drive for industrialization, Buhari said supply to homes and businesses remained dismal in Nigeria on the backdrop of a flawed privatization exercise. He said no country can develop without infrastructure, road, rail and power, and we are working very hard in this government to achieve it. Fuel prices in South Africa decreased on Wednesday. Petrol prices for both 95 and 93 unleaded grade decreased by 68 cents and 71 cents per litre. Diesel decreased by 67 cents per litre. Local fuel prices are determined by international oil prices as well as the dollar-rand value, as South Africa buys oil in dollar. While the price of Brent crude steadily rose over the past month, there has been a decline in local oil import prices, subsequently counteracting the weakening rand. The reduction comes as a great relief for commuters who travel during the festive period and are planning to return home as work resumes. A major oil and gas conference has been put off for the second time due to the COVID pandemic. Offshore Europe had been due to take place in Aberdeen next month as the biennial event could not be held last year. However, organizers said it would not be in the best interest of exhibitors, attendees, and staff to proceed in the current climate. Thereby, it will be rescheduled from 5th to 8th September 2023. Jonathan Hesty of Reed Exhibitions said it was a complex process to postpone such a large event and the decision had been made with a heavy heart. He said a smaller event could be held later this year if industry demand was sufficient. Boa Foods plc attained quoted company status after it listed 18 billion ordinary shares in Lagos on Thursday, the firm said. The high point of weeks of transformation and meeting authorities as well as regulators and demand. The milestone implies the food processing firm has gained entry into the Nigerian Exchange Limited and at the same time become its biggest consumer goods company by market capitalization after Nestle Nigeria in a sector that comprises other powerhouses like Nigerian breweries. Boa Foods was listed at 40 naira per unit but appreciated by 30% on the day of its admission, the maximum upper price movement the Nigeria Exchange Limited allows, putting its valuation at 792 billion naira. In December, Boa Group, the parent company, spun off its 5 food businesses and went ahead to combine them into a single company ahead of listing them as a separate entity. The cement arm of the company, Boa Cement, earlier debuted on the NGX about this time in 2020 and is now worth roughly 2.4 trillion naira, more than double its value when it listed. The listing today marks a high beginning for a company playing a critical role in the FMCG industry, one that's highly committed to nourishing lives with all our product offerings, said Ayodele Abioye, the acting managing director of Boa Foods. Before we end the news, here is a recap of our headlines. No going back on subsidy removal, federal government. Environmentalist urges Niger Delta leaders to rescue region from pollution. Buhari fought power sector privatization, described it as political favor. And that's the news. My name is Naomi Oleribe. Good evening.